So Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark obviously are a backcourt, and the odds of Kelsey Mitchell leaving the Fever or walking away from the Fever, the odds of her walking is next to zero. Next to zero. The odds of her asking to leave is probably 10%, and
10%. That's the actual odds he's giving that Kelsey Mitchell asks to leave the Indiana Fever. Not 50-50, not even 20%, 10. And yet, social media has convinced itself that every single tweet from Mitchell is a cryptic goodbye message to the team. So what's actually happening here? Because the gap between reality and perception has never been wider.
Everyone is apparently thinking that every single thing she tweets is a fucking shot at Caitlin Clark. Like Kelsey Mitchell's tweeted a few days ago, people show you who you are, believe them first time. Then tweet today, I don't need nobody holding my hand until and unless they really want to hold it. No favors, no handouts. If you know, you know. This almost certainly has nothing to do with basketball. This almost certainly is just something personal. And by the way,
here's the tweet that set everything off. December 2024, Kelsey Mitchell posts, people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Followed by, I don't need nobody holding my hand. I'm good on my own. No favors, no handouts. If you know, you know. Within hours, Fever fans are spiraling. Comment sections fill with speculation about Caitlin Clark, about tension in the locker room, about Mitchell demanding a trade. But here's what nobody's asking. What if this has absolutely nothing to do with basketball?
I've tweeted nonsense bullshit. It has nothing to do with anything. With no context before. This could literally anything could happen in her personal life. She's allowed to tweet what she wants. Y'all reaching and everything's to do with basketball or the Fever. That's fine. What got you tweeting like that? You're either leaving the Fever and breaking our hearts, or something's pissed off. Something about to average 30 a game. Not everything's about basketball.
Think about the timing for a second. Mitchell posted this in December during the overseas season. She's currently playing for her international team, making more money per day than the WNBA pays in weeks. She hasn't been in Indiana for months. There's no basketball being played in the league she's supposedly tweeting about. The Fever aren't even practicing. And yet the assumption is that every social media post revolves around a team she hasn't seen since September.
Everyone talking about the Indiana Fever, this and that. There might not even be a season. Like, we're talking about this like, oh, she's going to want to talk about leaving the Fever. She's currently an unrivaled. And there is currently no basketball being played. No basketball being played in the league she's currently in. It's currently not happening. So, I don't know why people are just thinking everything, single thing she's doing is revolving around the Indiana Fever. Because as of right now, Unrivaled are probably paying her more than the WNBA ever did.
Now, compare this to the Dejanai Carrington situation from last year. Remember when Carrington tweeted vague statements during free agency? Make sure you go somewhere you're wanted. That one actually had context. It came during active negotiations. The timing aligned with roster decisions. Within a week, the Fever moved on from her. That was a legitimate basketball tweet. But Mitchell's posts, they're coming from overseas, during the offseason, with zero connection to any Fever news. The pattern doesn't match.
We need to just stop overanalyzing every single tweet. It was the same with Nalissa Smith last year. Nalissa Smith tweeted dumb shit, by the way. Nalissa Smith tweeted, like, I think in 5 years' time, she'll look back at some of the tweets. And it was like, in mid-free agency, and tweets being like, make sure you go somewhere where you're wanted. And everyone's like, clearly this is about the Fever. Clearly this is about the Fever, and it almost certainly was. A week later, they got rid of her. Like, but apparently, according to her brother, nothing to do with Fever. But like, come on, that one was a very obvious one with the timing of it.
Here's what makes the overreaction particularly absurd. Mitchell isn't even a heavy social media user. She doesn't have Twitter fingers. She's not constantly posting cryptic messages or stirring up drama online. This is someone who tweets maybe once every few weeks, usually something completely random, and then disappears again. So when she drops a vague personal statement, the most logical explanation is exactly that. It's personal. Could be about a relationship. Could be about a friend. Could be about literally anything happening in her actual life outside of basketball. But because she plays with Caitlin Clark, suddenly, every word gets analyzed like it's a hostage message.
It's one of those things where I think Kelsey Mitchell doesn't use social media that much. She just tweeted into the void a few times. And if Kelsey Mitchell if I fully believed that she had full-time Twitter fingers and she couldn't get off social media or anything, I'd be like, okay, yeah, maybe you should walk away from the Fever. Because let's be real, it doesn't matter what type of player you are. If that's not what you want, that's fine. And if playing for the Indiana Fever isn't for a player, as long as if they decide they want to be there, they show up and give 100%. Like, if Natasha Howard decides at the end of this season she doesn't want to have to deal with all the bullshit, I don't really want Natasha Howard back, but like, let's just say hypothetically she decides that.
Let's talk about what we actually know. Kelsey Mitchell becomes a free agent on January 1st, 2025. The Fever have the ability to core her, which means they can keep her for one more season regardless of whether she wants to test free agency. Worst case scenario for Indiana, they use the core designation, pay her the Supermax, and she plays out the year while they figure out a long-term deal. Best case scenario, she signs an extension before free agency even opens because she wants to be there. Either way, the idea that she's just going to walk away for nothing, that's not how WNBA contracts work.
She could go and play for another team on the minimum while she got paid to sit on the bench and not play by the Indiana Fever and start refusing all trades because she only wanted to play for the team that was tampering together. Like, I still think Amber Cox and Kelly Krauskopf were cowards for that. It's not going to affect their free agency. If anything, a free agent that cares about winning a ring is going to be turned off by you doing that.
And here's the part that should end all speculation immediately. Mitchell and Clark aren't just teammates. They're a backcourt duo that went to the WNBA Finals in their first season together. They have chemistry on the court. The offense flows through both of them. Mitchell had one of the best seasons of her career playing alongside Clark, averaging over 20 points per game in the playoffs. Why would she walk away from that? Why would she leave a situation where she's thriving, where the team is winning, where the spotlight is finally on the Fever after years of losing?
Mitchell. But the odds of it being nothing are extremely high. It is very, very likely to be nothing. So I'm not going to pretend that this is something. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not going to pretend that we know her, but let's be real. We all know when something's basketball related and something's not basketball related, and this is almost certainly just a tweet into the void, which is fine. Players are allowed to tweet into the void. As much as might piss people off and it might confuse people, players absolutely are well within their rights to tweet into the void when they feel like it.
This is where the Dejanay-Carrington comparison becomes important again. When a player actually wants out, there are signs. Carrington didn't just tweet vague statements. She stopped engaging with the team publicly. She made it clear through her actions that Indiana wasn't her preferred destination. The Fever front office knew it, her teammates knew it, and the fan base knew it. That's why nobody was shocked when she left. But Mitchell, she's shown zero indication of discontent. No public complaints. No mysterious absences from team events. No reported friction with coaches or management. Just one ambiguous tweet that could mean literally anything.
So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys sick of all this? To be honest, I'm sick of having to constantly be like, this tweet has nothing to do with the Fever. And there's so many players that tweet stuff. Not everything's a shot at Caitlin Clark. Not everything's a shot at the Indiana Fever. Like we saw it with what you call it. We've seen it with with what's his name? We've seen it even with fucking some things like Aaliyah said. When Lexi Hall said that she was like, that Chelsea Gray was a great passer, people were like, she wants to leave Caitlin Clark. It's the maddest internet narrative ever. Like, we gotta be real here. Let's just call a spade a spade. There's no better. The Indiana Fever, worst case scenario, you're gonna core Kelsey Mitchell and they're gonna get a king's ransom for her. Best case scenario, she's on the team next year and they win a championship.
Here's what this really comes down to. The WNBA is in its off-season. There's no games to analyze, no trades happening, no breaking news to discuss. So fans fill the void by creating drama where none is. Every tweet becomes a conspiracy theory. Every Instagram story gets dissected for hidden meaning. And players like Kelsey Mitchell, who just want to post something personal without it becoming a federal case, get caught in the crossfire. The reality is simple. Mitchell will almost certainly be back with the Fever next season. Whether that's through free agency, a core designation, or an extension, doesn't really matter. The odds of her walking away are effectively zero. The odds of her even asking to leave are around 10%, and that's being generous. So maybe, just maybe, we should stop treating every social media post like it's a coded message about basketball. Maybe we should recognize that these players have entire lives outside of the sport. Personal relationships, family drama, friend groups, all the normal human stuff that the rest of us tweet about without anyone assuming it's related to our jobs. Because if we're being honest, the only story here is how desperate we've become for off-season content. Mitchell tweeted something vague. It probably means nothing. And even if it does mean something, it almost certainly has nothing to do with the Indiana Fever. That's it. That's the whole story. Everything else is just noise created by bored fans who need something to argue about until the season starts again. So, let me ask you this. Do you think Mitchell is actually considering leaving the Fever? Or are we all just reading way too much into a random tweet? Drop your take in the comments because I'm genuinely curious if anyone actually believes she's walking away from a championship contender. Hit that like button if you're tired of the constant over-analysis, and subscribe, because we're gonna keep breaking down what's real and what's just social media fiction throughout this offseason.